Hi, Dave. Look at this group. So nice.
That other screenshot of all of us, I don't know about that.
I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah.
Who did that one?
Wasn't
You make sure they were okay, huh?
The YouTube link has been sent to the chat box.
Okay. I'm gonna log out, Beth, so I can log in as with my name.
Mm-hmm. Matt, I take it parents can't get in until 9. Is that right?
No, they can get in now. Since we went live, they're able to join.
That is not working out of my other email for some reason.
Chanel, is Alex on here? No. Oh, yes, yes. Alex, make sure they. Good morning. Good morning. Would you be able to open the YouTube link as well, and then just type them up in the chat box?
Yeah, I have it open.
No,
Cool,
no,
perfect.
we have 4 people they in. can get in now. They're able to join.
Yeah, I got you, Caesar. So I'll translate any questions that they have in Spanish.
No. Oh, yes, yes.
I cannot hear anybody. Okay. Just waiting for Dave.
I'm here. I think I'm waiting. We have 11 panelists right now, 7 attendees.
Yeah, let's just wait. Matt, you can take me 100% off of this. I don't plan to be seen if I don't have to be.
Whenever your mic is on, it's going to focus on you. So I think if you were to turn it off, you won't be the main one.
Also, you can stop your video if you want at any point.
Beth, you want me to do slide 1 and slide 3 and 4, and in slide 2, people introduce themselves?
We're each going to
Slide 2, you're going to just say that we have counselors from each site.
Okay.
Why can't I go backward? Hold on. But you don't have to introduce each of them. They're going to each introduce themselves as they present.
Got it.
You can let people know that they'll be introducing themselves, but just so they know that we have the panelists from all 3 sites.
Okay.
Plus Katie.
Got it.
Look at that group. So nice, right?
Hello, parents. We'll be starting in the next 4 minutes at 9:05. Buenos días, padres. Vamos a empezar como en 4 minutos a las 9:05. Vamos a esperar que lleguen más padres. We're going to wait for a few more parents to come in. Thank you.
Matt, can all panelists see the chat?
Yes.
Okay, great. Should we go ahead and get started? What do you think?
One more minute at 9:05.
I see we have 27 in. I'm going mute. You start when you're ready.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias, todos. Thank you for joining our first ever ECS cross-campus mental town hall. I think one of the beautiful things that we're seeing about the opportunities that we can find in difficult times like this is that we can find more time for cross-campus collaboration because we don't have to be in the same space. And so it's one of the things that we're really hoping to continue and push through when we can all get back together and give each other big hugs, but not forget that we can still collaborate virtually, and that's something that we're looking forward to. Una de las cosas que sí nos da mucho ánimo durante estos tiempos difíciles es que por primera vez hemos hecho el tiempo y el espacio para colaborar contra las 3 escuelas para un ayuntamiento, un taller virtual al lado de la salud mental, un sujeto bien importante. Siempre hemos querido hacer algo así, pero tratando de agarrar todos los profesionales en un cuarto se nos hace difícil. Y ya nos andamos dando cuenta que no tenemos que andar todos en el mismo cuarto físicamente para poder colaborar. So I just wanna, can you take us to our next slide? I wanna present or just let you know that each of the counselors that we have here across the 3 campuses and our school psychologists will be introducing themselves at a later point in the slide deck when they're presenting over their part. But you should know that every single person that you see right here in front of you on these photos is a wonderful, amazing human being that can build relationships with students like no other. I always tell folks when we're bragging about ECS, and especially when I was doing work related to the opening of the 2nd high school, is if you want to come steal anything from us, come steal our counseling. Come watch what we do as a counseling, as an organization, because it's the best in any organization I've ever worked for. So you should know you're in very good hands. Les quiero presentar los consejeros de las 3 escuelas y quiero que sepan que este equipo es un gran equipo. Yo he trabajado en las 3 escuelas y ya puedo ver que cada uno de esta gente puede hacer relaciones fuertes con los alumnos, y además de eso, hemos visto que cuando ando platicando al lado de la 2ª high school, ando platicando para presumir de esta organización, la primera cosa que platico es al lado de la consejería. El equipo de consejeros aquí son bien fuertes. Vamos a asegurarnos que cada persona puede presentar hoy. No están bien felices con esta foto ellos, pero aquí estamos. Van a poder hacer preguntas por 4 maneras y le puse allí en la caja chat las 4 maneras. Van a poder escribir en la caja chat, van a poder hacer una pregunta donde dice Q y A, van a poder levantar su mano virtual, pero hay un botón que dice levanta la mano virtual. Si están en casa así con la mano arriba, no lo vamos a poder ver. Nosotros no podemos ver el video de ustedes. Si hay una pregunta bien individual al lado de su alumno, se lo puede mandar al consejero individualmente. Y también si nos anda viendo en YouTube, pueden hacer los comentarios en YouTube y los vamos a contestar aquí. So I'm sure our panelists are very thrilled about that photo, that screenshot capture that we snuck in on them. But we wanted to show you how you can ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat box. You can ask questions by going in the Q&A box. You can also say the raise the hand, like there's a raise the hand button, a virtual raise the hand button on there. I don't want you at home sitting like this, holding your hand, because we're not going to be able to see it. We can't see your video. You can see ours, but we can't see yours. You can also leave a comment on YouTube. and we will get to it. The other thing I was going to say is that if you have a very individual question about your child in particular, let us know that you have that. And if you don't know how to reach out to your school counselor individually for maintaining privacy, just let us know you want us to reach out to you in the chat box, and we'll do that as well. We have a couple of objectives today. We want to help out and support. We know that the schooling part, the classes, that's all happening, and we all have opinions about how that's going. Some of us think it's too much screen time. Some of us think it's not too much. Some kids want to learn in front of their teachers. Some kids want to learn in the middle of the night and don't want to be bothered or wake up early, and we're figuring all of that out. However, what we do know is that mental health is mental health, and the lack of human relationship is stressful on adults, but even neurologically on students, when they're developing, they're supposed to, at this age, begin to learn how to wean themselves off of their parents psychologically and buy into society and friends. And that's just part of the development of adolescence, and they're not getting that right now. We'd like to think that they used to come to school for us, but likely they came to school to see their friends in person, not on a screen. And now they don't get to do that for now. And so it's really, really stressful. So we want to make sure we're providing strategies, academic support, and structure. Even if they fight structure, people like structure. We want to make sure communication is clear. In my experience, 99.99% of problems are either miscommunication or a lack of communication. We want to make sure that you see symptoms before it's too late, that you're seeing things as they develop, and that you're helping with coping strategy. And then we want to provide a space for questions. If everything that we share doesn't answer your question, then we want to make sure that we give you a space for that. Al lado de los objetivos, sabemos que las relaciones personales físicas de los alumnos, de tener los amigos en persona, es algo bien importante para ellos. Y aparte del desarrollo de los adolescentes, a este punto en tiempo, les toca al cerebro ajustar de no andar con los padres y andar con amigos y la sociedad. Es parte del desarrollo de los teenagers y ahorita no lo pueden tener y es bien difícil para ellos. Si es difícil para nosotros, honestamente es más difícil para ellos. Nos gustaría creer que ellos vengan a la escuela para nosotros, pero no vienen a la escuela por nosotros, vienen por sus amigos, y eso no tienen eso ahorita. Entonces les queremos ayudar con la comunicación para poder evitar problemas. Muchos problemas que ocurren en la casa o en el mundo son al lado de comunicación que no ocurre, o comunicación que no fue buena. Les queremos dar recursos y les queremos dar espacio para que nos hagan preguntas. Matt, before you click on that next question, the one other thing that I want to say before I leave it to the professionals that can do this way better than I can, is that in my experience, whether it's personal from my own life or in working in education, the communities we've served have been similar to the communities we serve in ECS. I've never worked, like I've always said, I'm not going to be the principal of Beverly Hills. And I've only worked in communities that are similar to the ones that I worked in, that I grew up in. We went through a lot growing up. And to this day, my mom still doesn't believe in mental health. She's got 5 kids with degrees, people that will push her, and she still doesn't believe in it. And that's a shame, because she would benefit a lot from it through the things that we all went through. It really would help us as a people, as a community, for us to ensure that mental health is something that gets paid attention to as much as our physical health, because it is part of our physical health. And we as leaders in the community and as parents have to make sure that we are pushing that through, so that mental health isn't something we just do when someone breaks down, that we do things before that. So I'm really grateful for that. La última cosa que les voy a comunicar antes de que deje a los profesionales que saben cómo hacer esto mejor que yo, es decirles que en la vida personal mía y al lado de lo que he trabajado profesionalmente, he visto que las comunidades como nosotros a veces piensan que la salud mental es algo para gente que es débil, o solo para poner atención cuando ya alguien está en fracaso mental. Y quiero que sepan que eso no es el caso. Como líderes de la comunidad, como padres, tenemos que asegurarnos que andamos poniendo atención a la salud mental de los niños y de nosotros mismos antes de que sea bien tarde, antes de que ya tenemos que buscar ayuda porque ya no podemos. En la vida personal mía, la mamá mía vivió una vida muy fuerte, muy fea a tiempos y hasta este punto no quiere ver psicóloga porque lo ve diferente, es algo de la generación y andamos batallando con eso para asegurarnos que andamos mejorando la comunidad verdaderamente. Les agradezco su tiempo, and I'm going to pass it off to Ms. Lacey Harris.
Good morning. Thank you, Dave, for that introduction. I would like to definitely add to that this is not a normal time that we're living in. And so this is the moment where we rely upon our community for information when we don't have it, for that support, to normalize, what's happening emotionally for our students, for ourselves. And so one of the things that I think about is making sure that we're being patient with ourselves, because this is not our norm throughout these moments, and being home or having to go to work and being concerned about our physical well-being, but we also have to think about our mental well-being. So I just want to talk to a couple of things that we know students go through on a daily basis, and now it may be different for them being at home because they don't have access to their friends on campus. They don't have access to their teachers that they get a chance to see every day. And so with that being said, wanted to share some insights about what they may be feeling and how we can support them as a community. So I'm talking about adolescent development, so how they are developing throughout their teenage years. Just to briefly tell you about my background, I started at ECMS back in 2011 at the Inglewood site, and then I had the opportunity to go to Gardena. And so I was at the middle school for 4 years, so I know how fun and exciting it can be in the middle school years. And then I've been working at the high school for the last 5 years, working with students through their emotional well-being, as well as getting into college, applying for college. And it's been my life's work, and I really enjoy it. So some of the things that we definitely notice getting into the information.
Give me 1 second.
Cesar, go ahead, Cesar, sorry.
So I'm going to be here translating. You'll see me pop up often. Sorry, you get tired of me. So yo soy el señor Delgado, voy a estar traduciendo para las personas que están aquí, y también yo tengo mi sección, pero por ahorita quería decirles que la información que está diciendo todos está en esta PowerPoint y está a la mano derecha. So todo lo que estamos platicando está en la mano derecha. Vamos a ir un poco rápido, y lo que yo voy a hacer es traducir acerca de lo más no quiero tomar todo el tiempo para traducir todo, pero lo más importante es lo que voy a traducir. So, esa sería la señora Harris, y lo que quería decir es de que ella ha estado trabajando en la secundaria y también en la preparatoria, y acerca de eso también estamos en tiempos diferentes ahorita, que todo esto es nuevo y tenemos que tener paciencia más que nada por ahorita. So Ms. Harris, I just explained that I'm just going to summarize what you said, not really go into everything, and the Spanish is on the right-hand side if needed.
Okay, perfect. So some of the things that we see are throughout development are the physical changes. So it could be students going through puberty, their voice is changing, experimenting, wanting to try new things, and weight gain or weight loss. So they're seeing things physically within their body, their eating habits. They may, stack up on Takis or hot Cheetos and not realizing that doesn't sustain their body, that doesn't sustain their mind, right? And then the mental part of it is where we can see some mental health things popping up, whether it's dealing with stress and anxiety, liking certain subjects over others, being resistant from time to time because they're trying to be independent.
Okay, so lo que está diciendo la señora Lacey es que todo está cambiando ahorita, están creciendo, sus voces están cambiando, están de mal humor, cambiando de peso, a veces están agarrando taquis de más, y todo es diferente por ahorita, están cambiando muchas cosas por ahorita. Go ahead, Ms. Lacey.
Go back to the slide, the last slide. And so the other two things that I wanted to acknowledge are the emotional and the social parts of development. So with the emotional, it's that building that confidence, that self-confidence, and students go through different phases through their confidence, where walking in and they feel strong academically or they don't feel strong academically, and that affects how they feel about themselves. Identity is definitely something that comes up within middle and high school, who they are, who they're becoming, their racial identity, their identity as a sibling, their identity as a son or a daughter in the home. And so a lot of those things play a role in how we see their behaviors, whether they're in the classroom, they're at home. And then the social aspect, and that's something big that's missing right now, is that having that connection with other people, learning certain behaviors, sometimes the good ones, sometimes the not so good ones, and then making it a teachable moment and correcting those behaviors so they can be their best selves.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Could you go back, Matt? I'm going to say it in Spanish. Dr. Beth. Thank you. So, lo que está diciendo la señora Lacey es de que muchas cosas están cambiando ahorita, emocionalmente y socialmente. Son cosas que es un poco diferente en el tiempo que vamos a pasar. Acerca de emocionalmente, es cuando ellos están creciendo su autoestima y se están buscando así a un mismo y tratando de identificar quiénes son ellos. Sí, ellos, cómo es como ser un hijo, cómo es ser un amigo, una persona, un alumno en la clase. Esas son cosas que están pasando en este tiempo. Y socialmente, los estudiantes normalmente están aprendiendo diferentes comportamientos que pueden ser buenos o malos, pero están socializando con las demás personas, y eso es algo que es un poco diferente ahorita, pero es lo que están pasando a este tiempo. Go ahead, Ms. Lacey.
Okay, and I think I have 30 seconds for this next slide. So here is some idea or some things that to take into consideration as families, that students are discovering themselves in the world around them. So they're watching the news, they're on social media. So they may be taking in different information, and it's up to the family, the parent, to give them that honest information. And then building relationships and communication, it can be complex. They may say like, I don't want to talk right now, or they're feeling like they're totally independent and they don't want to be a little kid anymore and they got it, but they don't. As parents, as family, still check on them, still ask them questions, ask them how their day was. And when they say good, ask them, tell me 3 good things that happened, or if not so good, dig a little bit deeper with those questions. And then keeping routines is super important. And it may not be the 8 to 5 o'clock routine that they normally have, but giving them space to do their work during the day, shower, and then get some homework done. That's definitely appropriate.
Thank you. So acerca de lo que está diciendo la señora Ms. Lacey es, los estudiantes por ahorita se están descubriendo a un mismo, y los estudiantes están agarrando diferentes comportamientos de redes sociales, de lo que están mirando en Instagram, Facebook o cualquier cosa de lo que estén mirando. Ellos de ahí están recogiendo los comportamientos, y es muy importante como una familia que ustedes puedan elegir qué es lo que está bien o qué es lo que está correcto o lo que no está correcto. Mucho tiempo a esta edad, los estudiantes se quedan a un mismo y no quieren platicar mucho con los padres y dicen, no, todo está bien, no quiero platicar. O si le dicen, ¿cómo está tu día? La única cosa que nos dicen es, estuvo bien, pero hay varias horas en el día y esa no es una respuesta que queremos oír, queremos platicar con ellos. Cuando eso está pasando, lo que sería importante cuando estén dando respuestas, y que aunque digan que todo está bien, asegúrense de que le estén preguntando a ellos, ok, todo está bien, dígame 3 cosas que pasaron en tu día que fueron bien, y sigan preguntándoles cómo están, aunque les digan que está bien, porque aunque les digan eso, no quiere decir que todo está bien.
Again, be patient with yourself, tap into your community resources, tap into the counselors that are available to help, and I'm going to pass it off to Cesar Delgado. Thank you.
Thank you. La última cosa que quiso decir es de que asegúrense de que estén pacientes con sus estudiantes. Estamos a tiempos diferentes, y asegúrense de que estén pacientes, y si necesitan ayuda con algo, por favor, conéctense con el consejero de su escuela o consejera para poder ayudarles. Y ahora se lo voy a pasar al señor Delgado, que sería yo. Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Delgado. I'm the school counselor at Environmental Charter Middle School, Gardena. I've been with the organization for about 5 years, give or take, and then this would be my 2nd year as a counselor at ECMS Gardena. I was at Inglewood before. So just letting you guys know a little bit. So we have some participants from the high school. I wish I could see you guys again if you guys were from Inglewood. Hola, yo soy el señor Delgado, el consejero de la escuela de ECMS Gardena. Ha estado con la organización como por unos 5 años más o menos, 2 años como consejero de ECMS Gardena. Antes de eso estaba en ECMS Inglewood. So si hay unos participantes aquí de la preparatoria, me daría mucho gusto verlos, pero a ver cuándo nos conectamos. Gracias. So yo voy a platicar ahorita de estructura. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about structure. So it's very important to acknowledge that we are at a time right now where things are changing and things are very difficult and things are new. We used to have a structure where it was pretty much just given to the students or to the children, where it was like, I wake up at 7 and I would know if I wake up at 7, I'm going to be at school by 8. In between 7 and 8, I'm going to groom myself, take care of myself. If I care about how I look like, and then I would be in school by 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I'll have a break where I am forced to socialize. I'll go back to my next class, and then I would have lunch, and then school's over. Once school's over, I only focus on home, do some chores, and enjoy the rest of my day. All that has changed. All that is gone right now. These are new times right now, and things are very difficult right now, and things are very hard. I know it's hard for the families. I know it's hard for our staff. I know it's hard for the students right now. So please be patient with them. If you see your child, your student trying and attempting, it could get frustrating at times. It could be difficult at times. So make sure you appreciate all the small wins that they're doing. For example, if they're doing great in English and they might have dropped a little bit in science or something like that, make sure you focus on the wins right now, because we need as much positivity as we can. Simply because there's so many things to be angry about right now, whether it's not being able to go out, having to stay home, not being able to see more people, and things like that. So make sure you focus on a lot of the wins. La primera cosa que quiero platicar sería el aprendizaje virtual. Es todo completamente nuevo. La estructura que antes teníamos es completamente diferente que lo que era los estudiantes sabían a qué horas ir a cualquier cosa, y también sabían cómo, que todo estaba forzado en lo que tenían que hacer. So, por ejemplo, se tenían que levantar a las 7 para llegar a la escuela a las 8. En esa hora se cambiaban, se cuidaban, luego entraban a las 8, entraban a una clase, ya sabían cuál. Tenían recreo que estaban forzados a platicar con los estudiantes. Luego iban a su siguiente clase, tenían su almuerzo, se acababa la escuela, y cuando llegaban a la escuela, los estudiantes podían hacer lo que ellos gustarían. Todo eso ha cambiado. Es muy importante de que sepan de que esto es completamente difícil para los estudiantes, para los padres y también para el personal. Todo esto es completamente nuevo y difícil. So, por favor, asegúrense de que las ganancias pocas que tengan le den apreciaciones para todos los estudiantes. Porque si ellos están haciendo bien en ciencia, pero a lo mejor bajaron un poco en inglés, pero están tratando, hay muchas cosas por estar frustrado, hay muchas cosas por estar enojado o de mal humor porque no pueden salir, están encerrados ahorita la mayoría de la comunidad. Pero si están haciendo bien en algo, asegúrense de que se enfoquen más en eso que en cualquier otra cosa, porque queremos sacar más comportamiento bueno. Next thing I want to talk about is creating a schedule. So because we had a schedule that was completely changed, it is very important that we create a schedule for the families, for the students, to make sure that we could prevent a few mental health concerns from happening. Creating a schedule could possibly prevent. I don't want to say it's the only thing that would prevent it, but could possibly prevent anxiety and unknowns. What I mean by this is the students knew exactly what they were doing before. As of right now, everything is changing day by day. So there's a lot of anxiety towards it because right now we are quarantined and that could change by tomorrow. Everything could change as the day goes on. So there's a lot of unknowns, and we need to plan for the things that we could expect and the things that we can expect and the things that we could do. So for example, creating a schedule would be, I go into this class and I know I'm successful. I talk to this student and I know I'm successful. I socialize with my peers and I know I'm successful. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, we are gonna go out for a walk around the block. Things like that would keep the student from looking forward and reduce some of that anxiety, because there's a lot of unknowns right now. And even if you try to do a walk with your student and they give you a bad humor, a bad attitude, it could be simply because they're just anxious about all the unknowns. And if you tell them that they didn't plan for it and there's so many unknowns, and that could be frustrating. Una de las cosas que quería platicar es estructura y creando un programa. Lo que tenemos que hacer para este programa es asegurar de que los estudiantes sepan las expectativas para que ellos se sientan bien aún mismo de lo que están completando y lo que están haciendo, y también sepan lo que está pasando, porque ahorita este tiempo todo ha cambiado. Hay muchas cosas que han cambiado y crea eso ansiedad porque no sabemos lo que va a pasar mañana. Y si los estudiantes tienen un programa diciendo, a este tiempo tienes que estar aquí, a este tiempo se termina esto, a este tiempo vamos a salir lunes y martes, sería bien para el estudiante porque van a saber lo que va a pasar en el futuro y no van a tener tanta ansiedad. Por ejemplo, si les dicen vamos a salir el jueves y el miércoles y vamos a caminar alrededor del bloque, con que ellos sepan, tienen algo a mirar, que sería una buena cosa, pero si le dicen ese mismo día, en 10 minutos nos vamos a ir, a lo mejor le pueden dar actitud porque los estudiantes están de mal humor y tanto cambios es frustra a uno. The last thing I wanted to talk about would be, could you go back, please? Thank you. The last thing I wanted to talk about would be depression. So this would also help with depression. Structure allows them to plan for happiness. It plans them to plan for success, and for them to groom themselves and just feel good about themselves. Because if they are not planning to get up, if they are not planning to complete work, if they're not planning to socialize with their friends, and it doesn't have to be in person, something as simple as like, hey, make sure you talk to some of your friends from school throughout the day. Cat would be 5 that plans for success and grooming themselves. It's very difficult to feel good about yourself when you're not taking care of yourself. Something as simple as brushing your teeth, doing your hair, and things like that. That's very, very important at this time because some of those things are forgotten right now. La última cosa que quería platicar sería acerca de depresión. Estructura es muy importante, planear para la felicidad, el éxito y también la tarea, y también para que uno se cuide también, porque sé que en este tiempo es muy difícil para los estudiantes y los estudiantes a lo mejor no se están cuidando, no se están lavando los dientes, no se están arreglando el pelo, y es muy difícil que uno se quiera cuando no se está cuidando. Go to the next slide. Sorry, parents, I know I speak quick. I had a really good coffee this morning. Perdón, padres, de que hablo tan rápido. Le eché mucho café a mi café y está muy buena ahora. So this would be the schedule. I just want to go over this really quickly. Would be the schedule of how to do it. So this is an example that you guys can use. Parents spent $2 on this schedule, which was buying a cardboard from Dollar Tree and 99-cent store and buying some sticky notes. If you were to zoom in on this schedule or see what was on there, it says where they have to be at what time and what they have to do. So for example, on Tuesday through Thursday, the student knows that from 9 to 10, they're going to be in this class, and it's easier to plan for it and do it when there's a plan for it. If the student has no plan, they're just going to keep on pushing it and pushing it. Before you know it, they're not going to be logging on and doing anything related to academics or socializing with people without planning for it. So make sure that you guys get this. This is super important. $2 for the next 4-5 weeks would be super helpful for everybody on this, even for ourselves. As a parent, you're able to add what you think is most important for your student or what they need support with. I'd say including the classes first. If they are not grooming themselves in the morning, make sure you add that. Like, okay, you start at 9, at 8 o'clock, you got to wake up and you take care of brushing your teeth, eating some breakfast, and then you go to your station, wherever the station could possibly be, and make sure that you are setting that up. If you see that your student is not socializing and is like looking at the ceiling all day for the last few days, it's very important that you add that to it. So if you see a break in between, what you could add to it is this is a time that you talk to specifically your 2-3 friends that we know are close to you. Text them, Zoom call them, Google Hangouts. All of our kids know how to use this system already, so make sure that you do that. When you develop this, allow choices and appreciate the wins, and make sure you follow through with the actual schedule. I'm going to say it very quickly in Spanish. Give me one quick second. So, esta es un programa, una herramienta de cartón, costó como $2. Es muy importante que hagan esto. Les ayudaría para los próximos 5 semanas más o menos. Tiene las clases que van a estar los estudiantes, tienen el tiempo que van a hacerlo, y también pueden agregar clases, qué es lo que tienen que hacer, y también asegúrense que tengan opciones los estudiantes, que qué es lo que tengan que hacer, porque ustedes como padres pueden saber qué es lo más importante para ellos. Si no se están cuidando, agréguenle el tiempo para que ellos se cuiden a mismo, se laven los dientes, coman y se arreglen a su estación, y a qué tiempo tenemos que estar. Ustedes pueden agarrar este programa y hacer un programa así similar con la ayuda del estudiante porque ellos saben en dónde tienen que estar, pero si no, pueden preguntarle a su maestro. And you guys can do the schedule with your student. They should know where they should be, even though they might be struggling right now, but they should know where they should be, or you could just reach out to any one of their teachers and they can support with this. Thank you guys very much. Gracias. Se lo voy a pasar a la señora Miss Katie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Cristales, and I'm the school psychologist for all 3 of our schools. I'm going to start off today with some strategies to help kids focus and attend to their work because it's hard being in this kind of new setting. The first strategy is timers help with work completion, especially helping kids focus on a specific part of their assignment. What you can do is for younger students, maybe start off with 10 minutes. For older students, start off with 25 minutes. You set the timer, they work for that amount of time, and then the students get a break, whatever their choosing is, to do whatever they want to kind of relax, and then they focus themselves back in afterwards. It allows your student to really focus and kind of know, this is my time to work, this is my time to have a break. Another strategy is movement. If a kid is having trouble focusing, have them walk around the house, do jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever it is, just get them moving because it does help them kind of regain focus.
All right, so I'll go ahead and translate that. I'll say it in Spanish. I was going to say it in English. Voy a traducir esto. Esta es la psicóloga Katie Cristales para las 3 escuelas. Una de las cosas que está diciendo, si sus estudiantes están teniendo dificultad concentrando, haciendo trabajo, agárrenles un tiempo para que ellos sepan cuánto están trabajando y háganlos en tiempo breve. Por ejemplo, trabajas por 10 minutos, tomas un break de 5 minutos y luego regresas, o lo haces por 25 minutos y luego tienes 5 minutos de descanso, y ustedes pueden hacer eso dependiendo en lo que piensen que puede ser su estudiante. Y si ellos están teniendo dificultad con concentrándose más, en esos 5 minutos pueden hacer ejercicios, sit-ups, push-ups o algo así.
A couple other strategies is some kids work better standing up. So maybe creating a makeshift stand-up desk. You can see mine on the screen. It doesn't have to look pretty, but it could really be helpful to get kids working. Also, there are ways to limit like your visual distractions around you. A cardboard box would work great for this, and some schools have them to offer. So ask the main office if they have those available. And lastly, some kids work better listening to music. I highly suggest, though, that the music they listen to doesn't have lyrics or words, because it can tend to distract them more. There are a lot of YouTube channels that have a lot of different genres of music with no words. Check them out. It's a great way to focus kids.
La última cosa que quería decir es de que pueden hacer un escritorio parándose. Muchos de los estudiantes pueden trabajar un poco más mejor y enfocarse. Si miran la foto en la mano derecha, es algo que tiene la señora Miss Katie. Y otra cosa, si tienen mucha distracción, pueden poner un cartón alrededor de los estudiantes para que las cosas de fuera de eso no los distraigan. Y si quieren ayuda agarrando algo así, también pueden comunicarse con las escuelas. Unas de las escuelas tienen estos en la escuela y le pueden dar uno. Y si los estudiantes quieren oír música, a veces sí les ayuda a los estudiantes, pero sugiere de que la música que oigan no tenga voz, que nomás sea los puros instrumentos, porque si no, sí se van a distraer y van a estar cantando.
Okay. Sometimes also having a conversation with your child at the beginning and end of the day to help them organize and create that calendar that Mr. Delgado talked about is also helpful, because kids work better when they're having a conversation about setting things up, especially if they don't know how to set up their day. So to start at the beginning of the day, have a conversation with them talking about how are they going to prep for the day? What do they need to do? Maybe it's looking at their calendar and then also putting in those times of, okay, I'm going to complete my assignment here. I'm going to take a break here, or I'm going to do exercise here. And it allows them to kind of learn how to organize their day. And similarly, at the end of the day, reflect with your student. Ask, how did it go? Did this strategy work well for you? What was hard? What can be better? And it allows them to reflect and make changes for tomorrow. I'll let you go, Cesar.
Got it. Thank you very much. I'll summarize it. La primera cosa que quería decir, la cosa que estaba diciendo ahorita es de que hagan pláticas con los estudiantes de qué es lo que tienen que completar en las mañanas. Eso les puede ayudar mucho para si ellos no tienen la estructura. Por ejemplo, diciendo, a este tiempo tienes que estar en la clase, pueden sobrepasar el programa que les enseñé cómo hacer, y también en los espacios que tienen libres, asegurar de que los estudiantes tengan el tiempo de, puedo completar esto a este momento. Thank you.
The questions are in the PowerPoint for you. I won't go over them, but any of those questions work. And just remember to celebrate the successes that your child has, no matter how small.
Y asegúrense también de que le feliciten las cosas buenas que están pasando con ellos, el éxito, porque es lo que necesitan ahorita.
The last strategy I wanted to share is something called the 7 daily intentions. And what it is it's a routine for all of us, adults, students, families, that can kind of help bring some balance and wellness to our life, especially in this time where we don't feel that we have that. What is it? It's just tasks to complete in your day in a lot of different target areas, and allows for you to do things outside of the normal everyday things that we spend our time in, and to help us grow and balance ourselves. Oh, Caesar, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Can you go back, please? And you went over how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. También quería proporcionar las 7 puntos de actividades para completar antes del final. Las familias pueden hablar sobre las actividades de relacionar durante el día para completar todas las áreas, o trabajar juntos para completar las cosas que tienen que hacer para ser exitosos.
Okay, next slide, please. So what are those 7 daily intentions? Do something every day for your brain. The learning aspect could be for your kids, but also for yourself as an adult. Do something to expand your brain. Do something for the house. As adults, we tend to do this all the time, but maybe the kids can help out too, and finding ways to make your home, feel better and in this time. And do things for your body. Exercise, eating well, drinking water will help you feel better the next day. And of course, do something for yourself. We all need self-care. There's always something that we need to do to make ourselves feel happy, and it's okay to do it. So make sure you're spending some time for yourself. I'll let you go, Caesar, before I go to the last part.
All right, perfect. Asegúrense de que puedan hacer cosas para ustedes, y los pueden hacer con sus estudiantes también, o ellos solos. Asegúrense de que hagan cosas que los hacen sentir también bien a ustedes. Pueden hacer cosas de la casa, como cocinar, o cosas para el cuerpo, caminar, tomar agua, bailar, también tener actividades que nos hace feliz. En este tiempo necesitamos hacer cosas así. Sus estudiantes los pueden hacer solos, los pueden hacer juntos, pero no es mala idea de que ustedes como padres hagan cosas solamente para ustedes que les pueda ayudar.
Do something for someone else. This is a time where we're not having that connection with everyone that we want to. So making those phone calls, doing something extra special for your kids and for yourself does help your well-being. Doing something for your space, organizing your space. If we're working at home or having school at home, we have to have a space that makes us feel like we can actually do that. So making sure we're maintaining that space every single day. And lastly, every day, do something for your future goals. Whatever it may be. For kids, it could be looking into a university or a job, or it could be learning a new skill. I really want to learn this skateboard trick, so this is what I'm going to go and research. I'm gardening. I'm doing videos about gardening. Again, it makes you feel balanced, and it makes this time feel a little bit better as much as we can.
I think that was amazing. I'm going to see if I can pick up something else. La última cosa que quería decir es que asegúrense de que hagan metas para ustedes aún mismo, y también para sus estudiantes. Esas metas nos va a ayudar a mirar al futuro, y también ayudar a mirar de cosas nuevas que podemos hacer en la situación que estamos. Lo que pueden hacer es, los estudiantes pueden mirar a universidades y averiguar cosas de universidades para que tengan el interés. También los estudiantes pueden hacer o buscar nuevas cosas que pueden hacer, que puede ser un truco en una patineta, o jardinería, o cualquier cosa de interés, pero cosas que ellos quieran hacer, ustedes quieran hacer, para ayudar a que nosotros estemos cómodos con un mismo.
So I'm going to move it on to Miss Ray. Miss Ray, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Ray, the counselor over at ECMS Inglewood. I'm just briefly going to go over this slide. If you have any questions about any of these signs or symptoms, feel free to reach out to me and we can have a more in-depth conversation about what those signs and symptoms look like and what we can do to help alleviate them. So anxiety causes extreme fear, worry, and changes in a child's behavior, sleep, eating, or mood. And these are some of the symptoms that we sometimes see, which is irritability, difficulty sleeping, restlessness or fatigue, impaired concentration, not eating regularly or overeating, upset stomach, feeling shaky or jittery, shortness of breath, and racing heart.
Thank you. Esta es la señora Miss Ray, es la consejera de Inglewood y ella va a platicar un poco de ansiedad, va a sobrepasarlo, pero si ustedes gustan platicar un poco más en fondo sobre este tema, ella con mucho gusto les puede ayudar con este tema, aunque la contacten. Lo que quería decir de ella es, una de las síntomas es que los estudiantes estén irritables, de mal humor, dificultad con durmiendo, concentrando, no comiendo y dolor de estómago, sentirse muy nervioso y dificultad respirando o corazón acelerado. Thank you.
And then this is just about the signs and symptoms of depression, which looks different than anxiety. Depression is a serious mental health problem that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities. That can be combined a lot of the times with anxiety. Students will sometimes feel feelings of sadness and frequent crying, depending on the student. Sometimes they're crying, sometimes they're not. Frustration or feelings of anger, feeling hopeless or empty, irritable mood, or just being annoyed, loss of interest in their usual activities. If you notice that they usually like to do something and they're not doing anymore, that's a sign. Low self-esteem, self-blame or self-criticism, really fixating on failures, trouble thinking or concentrating. Sometimes they're, not remembering things that they would normally remember. Sleeping too much, definitely a red flag if they're spending all day sleeping, not eating regularly, and frequent thoughts of death or suicide.
Thank you. Lo que vamos a platicar ahorita sería acerca de depresión. Depresión es una dificultad con salud mental que más o menos se mira como estando muy, muy triste por mucho tiempo. Síntomas de eso incluye que el estudiante enseñe síntomas de estar triste, pérdida de cosas que está interesado normalmente. Por ejemplo, si le gustaba usar la patineta siempre y ahora nomás está durmiendo, ese sería un síntoma de pérdida de actividades. Puede ser de que el estudiante esté llorando, pero también puede ser de que el estudiante esté completamente bien, que esté frustrado siempre, o de mal humor o irritable, tener bajo autoestima, dificultando, pensando y teniendo la concentración, y también sería durmiendo de más. Unas de las síntomas son relacionadas a ansiedad, pero sí son diferentes.
And I just really quickly wanted to remind parents that we do have a wellness hangout Tuesdays for 6th graders, Wednesdays for 7th graders, and Thursdays for 8th graders. That's a way for students to log in and just chat about what they're feeling. It's a safe space, it's a group for them to just get those feelings out. So if you need information on that, it is on the parent letter, and I do send a link out for the students as well as a reminder.
La última cosa que quería decir la señora Miss Ray, la consejera de Inglewood, es de que también tiene tiempo específicamente para cada grado, de 6º, 7º y 8º grado, para que ellos puedan practicar y entrar a cualquier tiempo sin cita para asegurar de que estén platicando de lo que estén pasando. No decir el programa, pero va a estar en la última cosa que está aquí, las últimas slides. I don't know I didn't get the schedule, but I know it's on the PowerPoint.
And so that's it for me. Next is Miss Carrie Keel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Kyle. My name looks like Keel, but pronounced Kyle. And I'd love to start going by Miss Carrie. That make life easier. Thank you. And thanks for sharing all that wonderful information. I also recognize with all of these suggestions offered, information shared, that we might have a lot of questions generated. We would like to know more information, and maybe in the future we can dive a little deeper into some of these things. And of course, you can always reach out to each one of us, email. So I just want to highlight some things that have been said about coping or talking about how should we respond to these stresses, or how we can, in a healthy way, respond to these stresses. So again, acknowledging like that needs may be in conflict with each other. We might have different needs. So I am a parent of 2 teenagers, and can definitely have empathy for how difficult this time is, and being all cooped up in the same house when our teenagers, their job is to separate from us, to individuate, to learn how to be independent. So we might be getting a lot of pushback from them. Our job as parents is to protect them, and protecting them right now might be extra challenging. So I'm going to let Cesar translate that before I get too far ahead of myself.
Got it. Thank you so much. Esta es la señora Miss Carrie, trabaja por la preparatoria de nosotros. Ella quería platicar un poco de que si ustedes quieren platicar un poco más en fondo de cualquier de estos temas, ella con mucho gusto lo hace, o pueden hacer eso. Pueden nomás contactarla y con mucho gusto hace eso. Ella quería también agregar de que ella es un padre también y sabe cómo difícil es ahorita para ustedes, y ella entiende por ser madre de su estudiante y tratar de hacer todo lo que está pasando por ahorita. El trabajo del estudiante o del niño ahorita es tratar de hacer todo solo, tratar de poner distancia entre los padres y ser solo, y el trabajo del padre es asegurarle que el estudiante siempre esté bien.
Thank you. And we're going to stay on that previous slide, please. Thank you. Great. And so when we can recognize that when we are feeling stressed, that we might not be in the best position to respond to other people being in stress. So I want to just actually take us through an experiential thing, to take a moment to just breathe. And well, first let me say, like, this concept of filling our cup. So it's hard for us to give from an empty cup. So we have to make sure that we're filling our cup up first, that we're taking care of ourselves. Lots of wonderful suggestions have been given. So I just want to highlight that we need to do that. And also that we will maybe sometimes lose our cool. We might lose control. And to have some compassion with ourselves when that happens, but then to also make a repair. So it's important for us to go back and apologize if that happens, to communicate about what happened, and you get to express what your needs were at the time, and then ask what somebody else's needs were at the time. And you can, that's a great way to figure out where the problem lies. Cesar, I'll let you translate that.
Perfect. That was amazing. That sat well with me. Thank you so much for that. Lo que quería decir la señora Carrie es de que como adultos y como los padres, nosotros también hemos estado estresados, y como ustedes saben, no es una buena idea no es fácil responderle a alguien que está estresado cuando uno también está estresado. Es un poco de un desastre. Y lo que nosotros tenemos que hacer es tratar de no hacer eso cuando está pasando eso, porque una cosa que quiere decir es que nosotros tenemos un vaso de cosas que podemos hacer y cosas que podemos ayudar. Este vaso se lo podemos dar a nuestros estudiantes o nuestros hijos de felicidad, pero si el de nosotros está vacío, no le podemos vaciar felicidad a nuestros estudiantes. Tenemos que asegurar que nosotros como adultos y los protegidos de los niños estemos bien primero. La otra cosa es que es normal de que nosotros a veces perdamos un poco de control y estemos frustrados también y hagamos algo mal. Eso es normal. Nomás asegúrense de que cuando eso pase, lo cierren o hagan algo por eso. Por ejemplo, entiendan de que es normal que está pasando esto ahorita, pero también entiendan de que tienen que llegar y platicar de lo que pasó a un momento y hacer una reparación, y en esa reparación platicarían acerca de qué era lo que necesitaban a ese momento y se expresan ustedes con la otra persona. Got it.
Thank you. So again, the best way for us to actually help our kids is to help ourselves and then to take a moment to be grounded. Breathing is a wonderful tool that we have available to us all the time, but oftentimes what we're doing, especially when we're stressed, is we're breathing in a very shallow way. So what we can do, and I encourage making a practice of this every day throughout your day. When you wake up in the morning, start your day off, taking 3 deep breaths, putting your feet on the ground and really feeling your feet on the ground. If we had a little bit more time, I would love to do an experiential thing. That was my plan, but for the sake of time and so we have time for questions, I'm going to cut that short. But if you will take 3 diaphragmatic breaths, so deep belly breaths, that activates our vagus nerve, that activates the part of our nervous system that helps us calm down.
Thank you. Thank you. Lo que estaba diciendo ahorita la señora Miss Carey es de que tenemos que ayudar a los niños, pero también tenemos que ayudar a un mismo para asegurar de que podamos ayudar a nuestros estudiantes. Una cosa que pueden hacer, una estrategia sería respirando. Cuando estamos alterados, no estamos respirando despacio, estamos respirando muy fuerte y nos perdemos un poco de lo que estamos respirando. Es muy importante de que lo hagamos un poco más despacio. Tomamos 3 suspiros despacio, asegurar de que nuestros pies estén en el piso. Y esto es algo que pueden hacer diario para asegurar que todo esté bien. La señora Carey quería hacerlo, esa era su actividad, pero lo que por la razón del tiempo vamos a tener que moverlo. Got it.
Thank you. Okay. And some other tools that we can use are just to write down our thoughts. I encourage all the students that I work with and do this myself. I will create a notes page in my cell phone, or I'm old school too, and will write things down on paper. But especially if I have something, if I'm feeling angry, some intense feeling, and I have a desire to maybe lash out at my kids or anyone, to give myself that time to take a break and write down what it is that I'm feeling and thinking. That gives my body a chance to calm down. It takes at least 10 minutes. I would say even recommend taking a 10 to 20-minute break, kind of give yourself a timeout. We can give our kids timeout. We can give ourselves a timeout to calm down, and then we're in a much better position to respond. And so writing down thoughts is a great tool.
Perfect, thank you. Una cosa que pueden usar también para una estrategia sería escribiendo lo que estamos, los pensamientos de uno. Yo lo estoy haciendo para producir, pero asegurar de que estén haciendo eso. Unas personas lo pueden escribir a mano. La señora Carey dice que le gusta hacerlo de papel, pero unas personas lo pueden hacer por su teléfono. Asegurando de que escriban esto cuando están un poco frustrados o enojados, le puede dar el tiempo para procesar lo que está pasando, pero también para tomar un break de lo que está pasando si están teniendo dificultad con su estudiante, cualquier cosa.
Thank you. Okay. And so when we are really struggling, we want to reach out as well. It's very important that we're not trying to handle everything by ourselves. I know that's a struggle for me personally. So again, I can empathize. But we want to have a friend identified that we can talk with. And we can also, when we're reaching out, and we can model this for our kids too, encourage our kids to do this, but to express what it is that we need when we're reaching out. Like, I just need you to listen. I don't need advice. I just need an ear right now. So that's something we can do. And it can be a family member. It can be a mentor that you have in your life, a clergy member maybe. But definitely having a person that you can go to so that you're not handling everything by yourself.
You could off, Carrie. I think it was my internet, but did you say that they could have like a support buddy?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So lo que estaba diciendo ahorita la señora Carey, perdón, se me cortó el internet por un ratito, es lo que está pasando con varios de los estudiantes. Asegúrense de que aumenten a los estudiantes para que puedan también hacer esto, escribir las cosas que están pasando, pero también ustedes asegúrense de que tengan a alguien que los pueda apoyar en este tiempo, que puede ser un vecino, una vecina o alguien que ustedes tengan tiempo para platicar sobre lo que está pasando. Cuando algo pase con sus estudiantes, asegúrense de que platiquen sobre las necesidades que tuvieron a ese momento, o les pueden explicar al estudiante, a este momento no quiero discusión, no quiero platicar sobre lo que está pasando, nomás necesito que me oigas ahorita y para sobrepasar lo que está pasando. Got it.
Wonderful, thank you. And sometimes we need to reach out for help, professional sources. If you have health insurance, I would recommend contacting your health insurance to seek mental health benefits that are available. We can also, we have some resources posted here on the slides. If you'll go to the next slide there at the bottom, sorry, previous slide. When you have urgent needs, there's some resources here for you. At the very bottom of this slide, there's D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services, as well as Richstone Family Center. There are other agencies that you can reach out to. These are 2 agencies that we work with. We have therapists that come and work with our students from these agencies. Cesar, I don't want to say too much, Cesar, to give you too much to translate. So.
Okay, so we kind of let me go over real quick. That was slide 18. So before I go ahead and start talking, I'm going to transition to sharing my PowerPoint. Dr. Bernstein has another meeting to attend right now, so I will be sharing my PowerPoint. Give me 1 second, and we will allow time for questions in just a second as well. All right, is my screen good to go? Can everybody see it? Carrie, can you see it?
I can, it's really small. Maybe it looks, there you go. That looks great.
Oh, I made it smaller again, probably. Perfect. Got it, this should work, right? You can see it?
Yes, it got small. There you go, right there.
All right, perfect. Las cosas que estaba platicando son recursos que ustedes pueden usar. Puede ser usos de violencia pues, si algo está pasando para proteger a los estudiantes, departamento de salud, si ustedes tienen medicales, esa puede ser una ayuda. Pero aquí hay varios servicios que pueden usar ustedes y van a estar en estas slides y va a estar esto en nuestro sitio de internet. So I just summarized it. We're good.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I know we wanted to jump into questions. We're at the top of the hour here. So
yeah.
Are you going to field the questions?
Yes. So thank you everybody for being here. We initially planned to have an open discussion as well. Due to the time frame, we are going to have to limit that, but we would allow about 10 minutes for discussions. If you want to ask any questions, please raise your hand and we will approve you to speak, or you could just go ahead and type it in the chat box or on the YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you could type it in the comment box and we'll go ahead and answer those now. So we'll take about 10 minutes of that. And then if you want to hear that, please stay on until 10:10. Otherwise, you guys are good to go. That's the main information. Thank you so much. Hola, padres. Gracias por estar aquí. Queríamos tener mucho tiempo para preguntas, pero ya casi terminamos la sesión. So lo que vamos a hacer es dar tiempo para preguntas hasta las 10:10. Si quieren estar para ese tiempo, por favor quédense, pero si no, tienen la libertad de salir. Las preguntas las pueden hacer con levantando la mano. Sería que está abajo. O lo pueden hacer por haciendo un comentario en la chat box. En la mano derecha o en YouTube en los comentarios y aquí las vamos a responder. And then we're open for questions as of right now. And then we're good. My screen is sharing, so I would, if somebody could support with asking the questions, I can't see them.
I see Miss Rodriguez has her hand up.
Perfect. Let me just approve her and then she should be able to speak.
Okay.
I hope we can see you too, Ms. Rodriguez.
Good morning, everybody. I want to say thank you so much for sharing all this information. This is really, really good. I just wanted to add a couple of things that has been working with my kids. I have a 9th grader and then I have a 6th grader. One of the things that I usually do too is I know that for some of the kids, they're having a lot of assignments in different classes. At least for my 9th grader, he has different you know, math, science, whatever. What I try to do, instead of overwhelming him to work on all the assignments on that day, we pick one assignment. We look at the schedule. When are they due? And then we start working with the stuff that needs to be done sooner. Okay, Len, and we work the day, we figure out the day before. What do we need to, what do we need to attack tomorrow? What's our next task? Let's work on science if there's a lot of science. So let's get it over with and we just work on that tomorrow. And that is between all his classes. If he has class, you know, biology or whatever it is, we usually work on that, and that's it. Nothing else.
Thank you.
Or
Thank you so
whatever
much.
other assignment, instead of doing a lot. So usualmente con mi hijo, mi nombre es Vanessa, y lo que hacemos es que trabajamos con una clase solamente. A veces los chicos se sienten que son demasiadas tareas, demasiadas clases, especialmente para los que están en high school. Y usualmente lo que hago es que solamente trabajamos en una clase. Si es mucha tarea para ciencias, entonces hoy solo a ciencias. Y ese mismo día decidimos qué vamos a hacer al siguiente día. No esperamos hasta la mañana siguiente, porque a veces se les hace muy difícil decir, oh, ahora tengo que hacer demasiada tarea. Son cositas que ha funcionado conmigo. Otra cosita es, a veces quieren ver mucha televisión o quedarse conectado en YouTube y cositas así. Tengo cierta cantidad de hora de tiempo que no pueden estar en electrónicos de ninguna clase. Dibujar, jugar con Legos, jugar con cualquier otra cosa, menos con nada que tenga que ver con electrónicos. Brincar, saltar, bailar, qué sé yo. Esas son otras cositas que les quito para que puedan despejarse la mente. Another thing is that I disconnect them completely for a certain amount of time of any access to any electronics, no phones, no tablets, no TV, no nothing of that stuff. And then they can play with anything, write, draw, Legos, whatever it is, but they cannot use any electronics. And that has been able to distract them in doing other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Rodriguez. I recognize your voice. Say hello to the boys for me, please.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado.
We have another question from Colleen Espinosa.
Okay.
She has her hand up.
Oh, could somebody approve her?
I can do that. How do I do that?
Let's see if I could do it.
Give me the option.
Mr. Matt, would you be able to support with approving her, please?
Who are we approving now?
Colleen, she has her hand up.
Go ahead, Colleen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So are you guys going to send another Zoom out for the new enrollments for next year and how that's going to work?
Yes. So we will eventually start talking about next year. To be honest, Miss Colleen, right now we're trying our best to finish out this year. We will be working on next year, and then as soon as we have more information, we will give you guys all that information. So times are changing day by day, and things are changing, and regulations are as well. But we'll go ahead and send that out as soon as we have information. You guys will definitely get it as parents.
Okay, great. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for the question. La pregunta era acerca del próximo año, ¿ustedes van a mandar otra junta para poder ser parte de eso? La respuesta para eso es sí lo vamos a hacer, pero por ahorita estamos tratando lo más que podamos en completar este año, y al momento que tengamos más información, le vamos a decirle a los padres para que puedan ser parte de eso. Si tienen preguntas, lo pueden poner en los comentarios o pueden levantar su mano en el sistema que están usando. If you have questions, you could raise your hand or put it in the chat box or comment on YouTube.
Next up, we have Cindy.
Cindy, okay, could we approve her?
Yes, she is permitted.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy. We can hear you.
Hi, good morning. My question was about
the meeting that the kids had yesterday about discrimination, and it falls into the mental health and everything, health and everything, because I feel like they're all like getting depressed and just feeling a certain way because they're not able to walk with their friends and classmates. And I don't know if that since I wasn't what exactly was spoken or talked about in that meeting. So I don't know if it's going to be virtual or, I mean, I wish it could be a safe way to meet up together and they can see each other, but I know unfortunately that's not going to happen at this moment.
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear the question. I got cut off due to internet. Could somebody support with this?
There's so, well, I was wondering, like, cause I know it's not optional, I mean, but I was just wondering what exactly was talked about in that meeting.
Which meeting are you talking about? This one?
No, the one that the students had for the combination.
Oh, the one yesterday? I'm assuming you're a parent of ECMS Gardena, right?
Yes.
I recognize your voice. I can't necessarily put the name to it, but could you tell me your student's name and I'll forward you that information, or I'll give you a call and give it to you?
Alexa.
Right, I knew I recognized the voice. Got it. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the PowerPoint. I'm actually going to send that out to everybody at VCMS Gardena in 8th grade later on today. Thank you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any other parents that have questions at this time? Feel free to type in the chat box or raise your hand.
We do have a question on the actual chat box from the parent or the person, Maria Juarez. The question is, where can I find my students' grades? Could anybody jump in? Or I could go ahead and answer that.
I can jump in, Caesar.
Okay, thank you.
So Power School is the best place to look. If you don't have access to your Power School login, you can check with your counselor or your office support staff. For the high school, it would be Miguel Gamez, who you could reach out to and get that information from. The great thing about Power School is you can download the app to your phone. And you can see the students' classes. You can click on that class and see any work that your student is missing. And you can also reach out to teachers through email with the links that are on the app.
Thank you. All right, so that pretty much wraps up our time. If this is something that you did enjoy and you would like to see more of this, please make sure that you comment on the YouTube, or just make sure that you let us know that this is something that benefited you, so we can make sure that we could do this again. Before we end, I did just want to end with the resources, which is, I believe, the next slide, if I could get it right. This one. Go ahead, Lacey. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yes, got it. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to the panelists for your time and for sharing your insight and your resources with families. We hope that this was helpful. Each one of us probably could have spent an hour talking about our particular topic, or could answer even more questions. So don't be afraid to reach out to your counselors either at the middle school or the high school. This was a great opportunity to be in community with folks. It's hard being at home. Much rather be on campus. But thank you all for your time and have a good day. Be safe.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks everybody for joining us. The presentation is over. Feel free to log off. unless you have appreciations, go ahead and do those. Those are always warming.
Add that in the chat box.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta say it in Spanish. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Tenemos nosotros las cosas, el tema que pudimos platicar. Pues, nosotros como ser consejeros podemos platicar de ese tema por horas, pero a cualquier momento que ustedes quieran ayudar con algo, por favor llámenle al consejero de la escuela o consejero de la escuela para poder ayudar. A ver, I'm not answering that one. That's bill collectors. Asegúrense de que sean parte de ayudarle a los consejeros. Y si quieren platicar con ellos, llámenles. Sería todo por ahorita. Gracias por estar aquí. Si tienen preguntas o quieren decir algo, nomás díganos en el chat box, pero ya pueden asignarse afuera de este lugar. Gracias. All right. How do I stop?
Appreciate you, Mr. Delgado.
No problem. Was I never
Good
sharing
job.
my screen?
You were sharing your screen.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Got it.
All right.
So we have 10 people left.
That's us.